ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We saw in the last class how in the Gnani's life samatvam comes without any effort. In Karma Yoga, this samatvam is cultivated, but in the Gnani's life, because of the Purnatvam, the Purnata, the fullness, the understanding that I am Brahman, which is limitless, there is automatically samatvam. So continuing further, this 21st verse is going to sum up this whole section, a very important section with beautiful verses from 13 to 21. It's going to sum up by talking about Jnana Phalam, which here there are many Jnana Phalams, and then all of them have been talked about in verses 13 to 21, because it's hard to talk about the Jnani without talking about what the Jnani is, mental makeup, etc. is. And so the Jnana Phalam is being talked about, but here the Ananda is the Ananda of the Jnani is being highlighted. Let us chant. Bahyasparsheshvasaktatma Bahyasparsheshvasaktatma Vindatyatmani yat sukham Vindatyatmani yat sukham Sa brahma yoga yuktatma Sukhamash akshayamashnute Sukhamakshayamashnute Bahyasparsheshvasaktatma Bahyasparsheshvasaktatma Vindantyatmani yat sukham Vindatyatmani yat sukham Sabrahma yoga yuktatma Sabrahma yoga yuktatma Sukhamakshayamashnuте Sukhamakshayamashnute Ashnute. Ashnute attains. Attains what? Sukham. Attains happiness. What kind of happiness? Akshayam. Kshayam sukham means the happiness that becomes less and less and less the more I experience it. But here the happiness is akshaya, lasting happiness that is dependent on oneself. Happiness that is world dependent is kshayam sukham. The happiness that is jagat dependent is kshaya sukha. But the happiness that is independent of the jagat, that is dependent on the atma, is akshaya sukha. This is what is going to be pointed out. Let us further see the translation. So he or she eats. Ashnute. Eats means obtains. Obtains what? Limitless happiness. Who is this person? The person is the one who is described into two adjectives, two wonderful adjectives. Bahyasparsheshu asaktatma. Bahya sparsheshu asaktatma. And then the other word that is describing the Jnani is Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. Bahya Sparsheshu means with reference to external objects. What? Asaktatma. Asaktatma is the one who is not engaged. The one whose Atma here is not Satchidananda Atma. Atma means the mind, okay? Yeah. One whose Antahkarana is least bit interested in bahya sparsha. Sparsha means objects. Sparsha actually means touch, but here it's interesting. Sprishyante iti sparshaha. So in the Bhagavad Gita, we will see also in the 6th chapter and at the end of the chapter also, sparshaha means the sense objects. Why sprishyante? Because they are touched by the sense organs. Very interesting definition. And even in the word, the sense organ and sense objects are interchangeably used by the same word. Means what? No wonder we are confused. No wonder the sense objects bind one, and one is not able to delineate, but not the asaktatma. The asaktatma is the one who is not engaged in the bahya sparsha. Bahya sparsha means external objects. Now, not engaged in external objects means what? What is the jnani doing? He is closing his eyes all the time. She is closing her ears. No. While engaged in looking at everything, they understand. What do they understand? That it is as false as the beach behind me. And this wonderful video of this nice breeze and this nice beach and everything. Is it really there? No. Once you know that, you can enjoy that. Otherwise, if I'm sitting in this chair so close to the edge of the beach, then one will be worried. The waves will carry me off. How to teach a class like this? But we can be very sure that nothing like that is going to happen. Why? Because bahya sparsha means this whatever is behind this, all these objects that are behind are just a what is that? False background. False background which is ironically gracing the truth of the self. The truth of the self is always delivered in the amidst the false background. False means mithya background. And so, like this, the one who is not engaged in the bahya sparsha doesn't want to jump into the waters. Oh, I'm feeling hot, so I'm going to take a dip. Oh, I'm doing this, I want to do this. No such thing. Bahya sparsheshu asakta atma. Asakta atma means the one for whom all the external objects are not a sign of, not a site of engagement, not a site of involvement. This is the one whose mind, whose senses are not engaged in bahya sparsheshu, in external objects. And then the other one is called Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. He or she whose mind is engaged in the meditation of Brahman. Contemplation. Meditation here is contemplation of Brahman. Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. Yuktatma first. Yuktatma means the one who is together as a person. The one who is together, and then Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. Brahma Yogena Yuktatma. The one who is together, or even Brahma Yogaya Yuktatma. Both way we can take. Brahma Yogaya Yuktatma, the one who is together for the sake of preparing the mind to unify with Brahman, to be one with Brahman. How? Contemplatively. Contemplatively, the one who is very, 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 very alert as to their own identity. Their own identity. So we saw this is this. Asaktatma we saw, and then the Brahmani Yoga. Adi Shankara describes it very beautifully. Brahmani Yoga Samadhi, union with Brahman, or rather contemplation upon, because one is already having union with Brahman. Contemplation upon Brahman is called Brahma Yoga, Adi Shankara says. And then Tena Brahma Yogena Yuktaha Samahitaha Tasmin Vyapritaha. the one whose engagement is only with the truth of oneself, equipped with such a yoga. This is for the jnani. Or we can say even Brahma Yogena Yuktah, Brahma Yogaya Yuktah. If it's a Karma Yoga yogi, the one who is relatively together as a person in order to be one with, to understand the truth of oneself as the as Brahma, as one with Brahman. That also we can take. So Bahya Sparsheshu Asaktatma. So asakta means not engaged, not engaged at all with the external objects. And why? Because the person has experienced everything. We saw in the Mundakopanishad, Parikshya Lokan Karmajitan Nirvedam Ayat Nasti Akritah Kritena. So nothing, I have examined all the worlds. I have examined all the lokas and found that everything there is finite. Everything there comes to an end. Everything there is ultimately useless for me because it is limited, and what I am seeking is akritaha, uncreated. I'm seeking that which is uncreated. The only thing that is uncreated is myself alone. So this the person knows, Vakhya Sparsheshu Asaktatma, therefore not interested in anything that the world has to offer. The happiness is self-dependent, Swatantra, Swarajya. The Taittiriya Upanishad, Swarajya means the kingdom of the self. And the Taittiriya Upanishad says, Apnoti Swarajyam. This is what it is. Apnoti Swarajyam. And so therefore this Swarajya means gaining mastery over the self, gaining mastery over all this kind of wanderlust. Wanderlust means wanting to wander here, wandering there, and wandering in all these sense objects, wandering in various places, wanting to go here, wanting to get that experience, wanting to have another experience, wanting to, one becomes an experience hunter. Even after coming to the spiritual study, even after coming to Vedanta, one continues to be a hunter, experience hunter. And here, this is not the joy that is gained from experience hunting. From experience hunting, what comes? Nothing comes. Oh, I want to see somebody. Why? Because they can perform miracles. I want to go to this one. I want to go to that ashram. I want to go here. All these are what? The desire to hunt for spiritual experiences. That hunting mentality, that catch and kill and eat mentality, which is fine when one is an animal, is not good for the pursuit of Vedanta. That is not how Atma Jnanam is gained. And since we are approaching the topic of meditation towards the end of this chapter, and of course the whole of next chapter is going to be called what? Dhyana Yoga. The whole thing is on meditation and contemplation alone. And so since we are getting ready for that, here itself Lord Krishna is preparing us for this. So Bahya Sparsheshu Asaktatma. This jnani is described by two compounds, and then Brahma Yoga Yuktatma. Brahma Yogena Yuktaha. The one who is contemplative by nature. Doesn't have to sit with a japamala and do Om Brahman, Om Namaha. No, not necessary. But naturally the person is inwards and contemplative, even though he may be doing many things. She may be engaged with people, he may be doing some, he may be doing some kind of work, she may be talking to somebody, but still what are they? The jnanis, they are still a deep well of tranquility within themselves. Why? For two reasons. One is they are not totally what is that? They are not totally waylaid by the interactions. They are asaktatma, so they don't take those interactions seriously, and they don't take them personally either. They neither take them seriously nor take them personally, so they are able to just do this as though transactions without really succumbing to them. So bahya sparsheshu asaktatma, and then brahma yoga yuktatma. So what about them? What do they do? Vindati, he or she gains. Atmani yat sukham, yat sukham vindati. So the one whose mind is not engaged constantly in external objects attains yat sukham, that ananda which is nothing but the Atma. Atmani means not in the Atma, but it is Atma. It is centered on the Atma. The Atma is the Vishaya for which Ananda, that is the one. So then, she whose mind is engaged in the contemplation of Brahman, he who is a contemplative person, attains this limitless Ananda, Sukham Akshayam Ashnute. So let us look at this translation to make sure we have seen all the words. Yes, Bhakya Sparsheshu Asaktatma, we saw that the one who is not, whose mind and Antakarana are not engaged constantly in the external objects, and to this we have to add, and the one who is not hijacked by them, not hijacked by the external objects. External objects do not take one away, and because one is not dependent, why is this person not engaged in external object? Because she or he is not dependent on them for their happiness. They know the finitude of the external objects. And then, so therefore, where do they seek their happiness? They seek their happiness within, centered on the I. They are not Jagat dependent. Remember, we talked about the three stages of spiritual growth. First is world dependent, on validation, on self validation, world dependent, and on trying to gain happiness, world dependent, on getting distracted, seeking some distraction from myself because I cannot handle myself, world dependent. World includes people, etc. So from that, there one is going up and down like a yo-yo. When the circumstances are pleasant, one goes up, and then when they alter again, one goes down. So then the next step is karma yoga, where one is not world dependent for one's validation, for one's well-being, for one's happiness. One is Ishvara dependent. So from Jagat dependency to Ishvara dependency is karma. That is the leap of karma yoga. And then from there, jnanam doesn't take too long. Finding a proper guru and doing the study. What does one understand? I am Atma dependent, self dependent, Swatantra. Before I was what? I was other tantra, not Swatantra. I was the Jagat Tantra. I was Jagat Tantra, then I was Ishvara Tantra, then I understood the Ishvara as Svatma. Now one is what? Atma Tantra. And so these are the stages. And so in this way, one finds lasting happiness. Finds means what? Discovers. It was already there. Like even somebody searching for water. Oh, there is no water. There is no water. And then someone comes and how can I build a house here? There is no water anywhere. Where is the municipal water supply? Is not there. It's not coming. There is no pipeline put. How can I live here? And someone told to this fellow who was very worried, where would he live? How would he get the water? How would him and his family survive? Somebody said there might be water right where you are standing. So the water diviner was called, and with a stick he located the water right there in front of the property. And so that means what? That means that where was the water? Did the water just come when the water diviner came? No, not at all. So the water was already there. You have to tap into the water. Similarly, you have to tap into that Ananda. Tapping into the Ananda means being able to be available to tap. For I have to be available to tap that. I should not busy myself trying to fill myself up with all kinds of things, people, situations, etc., and then wonder where the Ananda is. Ananda is there. It has to be tapped by quietude, by knowledge, by learning to be with oneself, and by understanding that I am just nothing other than Brahman. And so this tapping is very much needed. And then the in the last few verses, he's definitely summing this up, because Ananda and meditation together. So the Ananda is the phala, and then for that developing a mental quietude, preparing to just sit with myself as Brahman. This is what we do in the morning meditations, and just preparing to sit with myself as Brahman without needing to do anything else. Being comfortable in my identity as Brahman. This is exactly what is needed. Being being comfortable in my skin and being comfortable in my identity as Brahman. So this is verse 20, 21, and then so we have seen consequently, continuously, verses 18, 19, 20, and 21 are all talking about the transformative power of self-knowledge. We're all talking about the same thing, the transformative power of the self-knowledge. One is, first we saw Samadarshanam. This is one transformation that the Pandita has, but the Apandita does not have. And then the second transformation is losing the fear of death. That is the one. Conquering this fear of death, because that instinctive fear is not there. That was also the second transformation. And then in the 20th verse, we saw that the correct mental strength, the requisite mental strength and the correct perspective to facing the ups and downs in life. So many things are there. Ups and downs in life are there, and one has to do this. And then in the final 21st verse, Krishna talks about the gnanis Atmananda. The Atmananda belongs to the Jnani's own nature. Just like a aquifer, underground water, it is always there. And it is tapped by what? Tapped by the borewell of knowledge, by the borewell of knowledge. And that is exactly what it is. So it's like, what is that? So when the electricity, there are in India, there are lots of power cuts. And so when the electricity goes, everything plunges into darkness, and everybody goes, oh no, I was reading, I want the electricity back, I was doing something, I was cleaning my room, I want the electricity back. But then here is the Jnani who enjoys uninterrupted electricity. How? Because has a personal UPS in the form of Sat Chit Ananda. The Ananda that has been activated is like an uninterrupted supply of happiness. So even when the external world is dark, or even when the external world does not cough up any source of Ananda, the Jnani's Ananda is uninterrupted like the ocean. Very beautiful. Then we have two more verses that now this topic is complete. Now we are going to another topic, two verses of sadhana. This is a typical Bhagavad Gita, what is that called, device to talk about First to talk about Atmajnanam and then to talk about how to gain this. First, and so now we didn't talk about Atmajnanam, but we surely talked about Jnani, Atmajnani in the last 7, 8 verses. And now it is going to say two most important things that one has to do in order to gain this knowledge. What is it that one has to do? Let us see. Let us see the next verse. So, where did that go? I'm not finding this. Are you able to see the verse? No? Yes? I don't know. Let me see. Because I'm not able to find out where it went. Let me find that out first. Here it is. Okay. So let me share it again. These two verses, 5:22 and 23. ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगाः ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगाः दुःखयोनय एव ते दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः न तेषु रमते बुधः. So it sounds like a tall order. Verses 3 to 21 sound like a very tall order. How on earth am I going to get this? How am I going to find this out? How am I going to be like these jnanis? So, a few clues to follow this and how to get this knowledge are given here. Let us see. So, ye he, these which are. Ye he means all of these which are what? Samsparshajaha bhogaha. Samsparshajaha bhogaha. Bhogaha means objects of enjoyment. Objects of enjoyment or bhoga. I think I lost the page. If you click something by mistake, it goes. Okay. So, ye hi samsparshajaha bhogaha. Samsparshaja means that which is born of. Let's just see the translation first. Some is samyak, very well. Sparshaja, born of objects. We saw that sparshaha means objects. Sparshaja, so from the sparshas they are born. Born of the sparshas means object born. Object born bhogaha. Enjoyments born of objects are what? The birth canals of sorrow. Indeed, eva, indeed they are dukkha yonayah. Yoni means birth canal. And so, what is this yoni? Yonayah, many yonis. They are the what is that called? The birth canals of sorrow. What does it mean, birth canal of sorrow? Means source of sorrow, from where sorrow comes. So in the beginning it is bhoga. In the beginning, the very same thing, that is an object of enjoyment. After a while, what happens? The bhoga becomes a source of roga. Never yoga, never Brahma yoga. It becomes a source of roga. From bhoga to roga, not very far to go. From indulgence to sickness, that's what happens. And then, dukkha yonayaha evate. So all these objects that are, all these happinesses and enjoyments that are born of objects are not only they have a shelf life, Shelf life means expiry date will be there. Expiry date will be there. They have a shelf life, and then not only that, they are what? Sources of sorrow. And we'll see how after finishing seeing the whole translation. And one reason is already given here. He Kaunteya, O Arjuna, Adyantavantaha te sarve Adyantavantaha, meaning Adivan and Antaman. So they have a beginning and they have an end. So Adi and Anta, they are equipped with Adi and Anta. Means they are equipped with a beginning and an end. What does that mean? There was a time they were not there, and there is going to be a time they are not going to be there. And so that means what? They are just there little bit in the middle. And so, what do you want? You don't want Adyantavantaha. You don't want anything that that has a beginning and an end. You hate such things that have a beginning and an end. And so Adyantavantaha means they are finite. They are finite, and therefore what? Knowing this, nateshu ramante, in them, nateshu, not in them, what? Ramate, I thought it was plural, but it is singular. Ramate. Nateshu ramate buddhaha, the wise person. She or he does not revel in what? In that which has a beginning and an end, and in that which invariably results in sorrow, even though it starts off as enjoyment. This is the very beautiful verse and a wonderful, what is that called? Reminder. It's a great reminder. And so, because later on it's going to be told in the Bhagavad Gita that tamasika sukha, the sukha that comes from tamas, is very sweet in the beginning, and then after that becomes what? Becomes bitter. Becomes very, very, very bitter. And so this is a sadhana. This verse in number 22 is a sadhana for Atma Jnanam, how to cultivate this indirect sadhana. Number 22 and 23 is about writing our attitudes and knowing what to pursue. So they are the sadhana for preparing for Jnana Yoga. And so here here it is said that this is the yehi samsparshaja bhogaha. I want to see what Adi Shankara says for samsparshaja bhogaha. I had the bhashya somewhere. That is the problem with having too many documents open. There we are. It was hiding in the back. So he says, samsparshaja bhogaha. He says, vishayendriya sparshebhyah jataha bhogaha. Vishayendriya means the sense organs. Sparshebhyah, the contact of the sense organs with the sense objects, the happiness they produce. Bhogaha means bhuktayah, dukkhayonayah. Why? Avidya kritatvat, because they are all products of avidya. So, and then they only end in sorrow. They only end in sorrow. In fact, they begin in sorrow and they end in sorrow. And so therefore what? Therefore dukkhayonayaha eva. Eva means even if you go to other lokas, that also comes to an end. That loka also don't think you can get married to Urvashi and Rambha and then get a green card. Not possible. Urvashi is also on a temporary visa. She is just an exalted jiva. Urvashi, Menaka, Rambha, etc. They are not citizens of heaven. Don't think you can marry them and then get a visa, a permanent visa. Not possible. You will come back because that is just a field of experience. And being a field of experience, it is finite. It is not, what is that? It is not It is not limitless. And what does one want? Limitless. So the joy is born of interaction with the sense organs, the sensory contact of the with the objects are what? Dukkhayonayaha. Dukkhayonayaha. And so Dukkhayonayaha means that they bring, even though they are happy, they bring happy tidings in the beginning, they turn into sorrow. And what is the threefold sorrows are there? One is the ayasa, the pain of acquisition. You have to say shoo 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 to everybody else. You have to fight for what you want. You have to get it from other people's hand. The pain of acquisition. So even with the most desired thing, there is the pain of acquisition. And then what? The pain of preserving it. Then after getting it, are you content? No, somebody might take it away from me. So first I said shoo, shoo, shoo and grabbed it. Now I say shoo, shoo, shoo to people who want it and I'm holding it tightly. No, it's mine. I'm not going to give it. And then the third pain is what? Even though I'm holding it tightly, it is lost. The pain of dealing with the loss. So, where is the bhoga here, dear friends? Where is the bhoga? Tell me. Where is the bhoga? There is no bhoga. So, bhoga only for namesake. So, in the beginning, while getting it, it is very difficult. And it's nothing comes easily. It's not like taking lollipop from a child's hand. Even that's not easy. Okay, somebody said that the person who came up with this expression, taking lollipop out of the child's hand, obviously does not have a child. They don't know how tightly the children can hold and what a ruckus they can create if you take away the candy from the hand of the child. But anyhow, back to this. So the pain, no. In fact, we have an expression. What is that? No gain, no pain, no gain. This we already have an expression. Everything, the more the desire, the greater the pain of acquisition. The greater the desire, there is a concomitant increase in the ayasa, in the effort and the pain of acquisition, the greater the desire. Then you say, shoo, 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 I'll smile, 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 smile. Go away, shoo. And then after getting it, you can't rest, you can't sleep at night. Again, you have to say, shoo, 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 shoo. So many shoo, shoos. And then what? After that, it goes away anyway. So better to become a mumukshu instead of keeping on saying shoo, shoo. Become a mumukshu. And so this is why they are finite. Adyantavantah. They have a beginning, they have a, so every first, so number one, every pleasure is mishrita with pain. It is mishrita with pain. And what is that? The acquisition is dukkha. The preservation, the keeping it with you is dukkha. And of course it's going to go away. That also is dukkha. And every pleasure is mixed with pain. There is no sheer pleasure. No such thing. No such thing. The other side of pleasure is what? Pain. In the Ramayana, in the beginning, the wives of Dasharatha wanted children badly. Dasharatha was unable to have children, so he did a Putra Kameshti Yajna, and Kaushalya was blessed with a baby boy called Rama. And of course, she doted on him. Why she? Everybody doted on him because he happened to be an avatara in human guise. Yeah, and then everybody was attracted to him and loved him. And then what? At the time of going to the forest, she begs him. She says, don't go, don't go. And then what? He goes anyway. And in those days, going to the forest was a death sentence. Nobody was going to come back. Yeah, it's like that poem. There is what is that? There is one poem. A lady, there was a lady from Niger. Right now there is a lot of trouble in Niger. But this was perhaps, some old poem. There was a lady from Niger who smiled as she rode on a tiger. They returned from the ride. They returned from the ride with a lady inside and a smile on the face of the tiger. So, so that's what happened. If you went for Vanavasa, Vanavasa was a polite way of saying kill him. That was what it was. Kill all of them. So you just send them to the forest, and some lion is smiling, some cheetah is licking its lips, and the cheetah sees Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita in the forest. So, what is that? Cheetah saw Sita, and then Cheetah licked its lips, and Cheetah said, "There's plenty for everybody. Invite the whole neighborhood. There are 3 people here. This was a death sentence." And so Kaushalya then says in the Ramayana, "I wish I never had children." So you see, Adyantavantah, before she was saying, I'm going to commit suicide, I can't live without a child. I need a child badly, want. Have to have. And then we got this child, fell in love with this child, raised this child, and now the child is going to the forest. Not only the son is going to the forest, the son is taking the daughter-in-law and the brother with him. They are also not refusing to stay without him. And so therefore what? So therefore it is painful. Every bhoga is extracts a fee, like the corrupt people in Indian politics. Like if you want to get something done, which the municipal people should come and do, they will extract an unofficial fee. And then they will say, okay, it's off the books, but if you do this, you will get the water to your locality quickly. Electricity will not be disrupted, all these things. So like this, the bhogas, the sources of enjoyment, are all mixed with dukkha, because they attract a fee. From you, they siphon off the fee. What is the fee? The fee is your mental balance. The fee is your sanity. The fee is your own sanity. They siphon off your sanity and take it away. And so therefore, nateshu ramate buddha. They do not, they don't know how to do this. Most people don't know how to do this. What the Buddhas do. Buddha means gnanis. Nateshuramate. They don't revel in them. They may have them. They may have some sources of enjoyment. They may have things in their house or in their room that they enjoy, but they are not looking to them to fill up their lives. They are just the kind of people who give happiness wherever they go. This is the Gnani Lakshana. What is the Gnani Lakshana? The Gnani gives happiness to people wherever he goes, wherever she goes. Whereas the Ajnanis give happiness to people whenever they go. Not wherever they go, whenever they go. Because they have to be dealt with. They are always sad and angry and all these things. So then, this is what I have to handle. I have to learn to have the strength to face the painful objects of the pleasure. I have to be prepared for the thorn if I pluck a rose. And that is the idea. Because why? One is not in the place to give up everything. That would obviously be one possible solution. But then what? There is loneliness, emptiness, fear, and then, oh my God, I miss people, I don't have this, etc., etc. So therefore, what? Therefore, one I have to have that. I have to decide some way of facing this issue, facing this problem. Because if I don't have possessions also, I'm sad. If I have possessions also, they possess me. So therefore what? Therefore, follow the middle path. I follow the middle path. What? Have a few things, only that which you need, that which is not hurting the environment, that which you can live with. A few things you have, and then even with regard to those things, one learns to be objective. As a result of this verse, one learns to be objective. And then finally what? Then the learning to be happy with oneself, not just with the objects, with oneself. Everything I may have, but then you can have anything you want, but then don't be possessed by them. Make the mind strong through meditation, through yoga, through what is that, and by committing to Atma Jnanam. And then they will no longer become Dukkhayoni. Dukkhayoni. And so you can, so it's not about giving up things, it's not about having things, it's not about either. What is it? It is the attitude to all the things that I have. And that attitude is not to get carried away by them, and not to get carried away means not be possessed by them. That is the idea. Next one, 23. शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुम् शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुम् प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगम् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगम् स युक्तः स सुखी नरः स युक्तः स सुखी नरः. One more time. शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुम् शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुम् प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगम् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगम् स युक्तः स सुखी नरः. सह एव युक्तः सह एव सुखी नरः. नरः न रीयते इति नरः. Nariyate means that which never comes to an end. The Nara means human being. Why is it called a human being? Because the human being never comes to an end. Because Ishvara, it is Narayana. That's why. So Nariyate, and even if one doesn't know one is Narayana, one is keeping on being born, therefore also never coming to an end. So then Shaknoti, the one who is able to. Yaha Sodhum. Sodhum means to endure. To endure what? To endure Vegam. To endure here means to process, to take care of Vegam. Vegam means what? The pressure. The pressure of Kama and the pressure of Krodha. Kamakrodha, Kamakrodhau. Kamakrodhabhyam udbhavam vegam. Kamakrodhabhyam udbhavah. So the birth of this pressure is born of desire, which is also born of anger when the desire is not fulfilled. So Shaknoti ihaiva, in this life itself. And then that is emphasized, Prak Sharira Vimokshanat, before the body is dropped, before the body is given up. Sharira Vimokshanat, before one is free of this body. So Sharira Vimokshanat Prak. Sharirasya Vimokshanat Prak. Prak means before. Before the fall of this body, before being released by this body, before the release of this body, the one who is able to conquer. So dhum, you say pratyaya is tumun, okay, to conquer, to process, to overcome what? The Vega. Vega, is a name for a scooter, and but here Vega means pressure, the speed, the impulsive nature of Kama and Krodha, because of which I don't even see what is in front of me. I just want to strike, I want to yell, I want to hit and then talk. I want to cry, I want to scream. Why? Because that's how it is. That's what, because the anger doesn't make me think, desire doesn't make me think. So then, Sodhum, who is able to process, who is not overcome by what? The impulse. Vega means the force, the impulse of this desire. The person who is able to manage the impulsive pressures born of desire and anger here itself before the dropping of this body, then what happens? Saha yuktaha, that person is a yogi. Yuktaha, the person is together, leading a disciplined life. And then who is this person? Saha sukhi naraha, the person is happy. So this is again a wonderful sadhana, a beautiful sadhana. First, in the previous verse, we saw mental preparedness with regard to ownership of things. Having things is not a problem, but let it not have me. That is the issue. And managing the pain of the loss, etc., that is mental preparedness, that one value. And then now in this last verse, again Lord Krishna goes back to Raga Dvesha, something we saw in second chapter and even more detail in the third chapter. In the 37th verse of the third chapter, Lord Krishna says, how does that verse go? Kama esha krodha esha rajo guna samudbhavah mahashano mahapapma vidhyena miha vairinam. Mahashana. This Kama and Krodha are not ordinary things. They exercise tremendous pressure. Kama turns into Krodha. We saw that also in detail. Kama, when it is blocked, turns into Krodha. And then what they are? Mahashanaha, Mahapapma, they cause you to transgress dharma. They cause one to transgress dharma, and therefore Mahashanaha, Mahapapma. They are literally lots of papa, and then Vidhi enam vairinam, know them to be the true enemies. And then at the close of the third chapter also we saw what? The same Raga Dvesha topic, and Jahi Shatrum Mahabaho Kamarupam Durasadam. Durasada, that which is difficult to conquer. Conquer the enemies in the form of Kama Krodha. That is the real enemy. That is what is inimical to your pursuit as a yogi, as a jnani. And so, in the same way, here also, the management of Raga Dvesha, we always come back to this because even though it looks basic, it is not. It is not basic at all. It is actually very profound, very, very profound, and very much needed for this teaching. Extremely needed for this teaching. It is not basic in the slightest. And so then here the Raga and Dvesha are highlighted. Raga and Dvesha are highlighted because it's all just a series of misconceptions. The world can give me happiness. One misconception. People are here for me all the time. Big misconception. If people were here all the time for everybody, nobody would come to ashram. Okay? Yeah. Ashram, one has come means there is a disappointment. Everybody has disappointment. So, what is the difference between a person who has entered the ashram and the person who is yet to enter? The person who has entered a Vedanta ashram has taken responsibility of the disappointment and has decided to do something about it. Whereas the person who is not in the ashram is not looking at this problem spiritually, what is that person doing? Busy blaming this one, that one, this one, or oneself all the time. This is the issue. So therefore that I am subject to sorrow, that I am subject to raga and dvesha, kama and krodha, and the world is the cause of sorrow. All these are misconceptions. Because if the world is a cause of sorrow, I should be happy or unhappy all the time. That is not the case. So what is there to blame? The world cannot be blamed, and so therefore the world cannot change. I have to change. I can't not have raga dveshas. That also we saw in the third chapter. Sarvesham buddhau raga dveshau vyavasthitau. That vyavasthita means it is arranged for everybody, every buddhi to have raga and dvesha. It has been arranged. Oh, so then what is the problem? It is Ishvara Srishti. But what is the problem? The problem is I think I have to endure the raga dveshas and go along with their orders. No. The next line reads, what does it say? It says the following, then it says, तयोर वशम न आगच्छेत तौ ही अस्य परिपंथिना. Don't come under the spell, Arjuna. This is the person's what is that called, enemy. This is inimical to the person. So all these verses from the third chapter, why am I quoting? Any idea? To show us that we have already discussed these very same things. Here it's just a reminder. We have discussed all this in detail. How to overcome raga dvesha? By having a God-centered, Ishvara-centric life, dedicating all the karmas, dedicating the agency. And that is how to get out of kama, krodha, raga, dvesha, etc. And accepting whatever comes with a glad attitude. And so it's not that raga, dvesha have been wiped out. No, we can't wipe out the raga, dveshas. We learn to manage them, we learn to handle them. Handling raga, dvesha means what? They don't handle you, you handle them. That is the idea. Let the raga come, let the dvesha come. I am a yukta. I learn to manage myself. I don't poke my nose in other people's business. I don't try to become a YouTube influencer on how to manage raga dveshas. And myself, I need somebody to tell me how to manage. No, I learned to manage raga dveshas for myself by having Ishvara in my life. That is really the only way, that's the best way. And in this way, when I am able to process the raga dveshas, when the raga dveshas do not get the better of me, what happens? Then I get, what's that word? Ready. I get ready for Atmajnana. I am prepared for Atmajnanam. I have become an integrated person, a yukta, somebody who is together. Somebody who is together. That is what is called Swarajya. That is exactly what is called Swarajya. And so therefore what? So therefore, this is these two verses, 22 and this last one, 23, I suppose, they both talk about a quick little primer, a quick brush up on raga dvesha psychology, and a quick brush up on how to see the objects in the world as being born in out of sorrow. And it is sorrowful to acquire, sorrowful to preserve, and even more sorrowful when they go away. So this all we have seen. Continuing, and in this verse, the yogi's life is summed up here. Jnani's life is summed up. Yontas sukhontararamah, yontas sukhontararamah, tathantarjyotirevayah, तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं, स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति, ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति यः अन्तः सुखः अन्तरारामः. The Antasukha, the one for whom the happiness is within, is called Antasukha. Antararamaha, the one whose revelry is within. Ram is the root verb here. Ram becomes a masculine noun. Rama, Ram to revel. Okay, and so Yaha Antasukha, whose happiness is within. Yaha Antararamaha. Antararamaha means whose entertainment is also within, who revels within, whose revelry is within. Tatha, in the same manner, antarjyotihi eva yaha. Antarjyotihi. Antarjyotihi means what? Who is all light, who is in the nature of light. What is this light? Light means knowledge. Light is knowledge. Yeah, knowledge. So self-effulgent Atma. So many antas. Okay. So antas sukha, and then antararamaha, and antarjyotihi tatha evayah. Then who is that? Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam. Sayogi Brahma Nirvanam. So the Brahma Nirvanam means has attained oneness with Brahman, has quote unquote become Brahman, become, so to speak, has attained oneness with Brahman, has become one with Brahman while alive, and after the fall of the body reaches Brahman. And so we'll see this in detail tomorrow. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ॐ. Thank you.